In the small town where they grew up, Alexa and Diana were known as the twins. Born just minutes apart, the two girls shared the same delicate features, almond brown eyes and honey-coloured hair. However, it was clear from an early age that their similarities ended with their physical appearance. Diana was the embodiment of grace. From a young age, she seemed to have a natural gift for elegance. Always impeccably dressed, with ribbon bows in her shiny hair and pristine dresses that seemed never to crease. She was like a living doll, enchanting everyone who crossed her path. Her delicate hands held dolls with such care that they seemed real, and her brown eyes shone with concentration as she sewed little clothes or invented elaborate stories for her tiny fantasy world. Moreover, Diana had a small pink notebook that she carried everywhere. There, she drew with surprising precision for her age, creating images of graceful ballerinas, enchanted castles and magical forests. Her soft voice and impeccable manners were magnetic, winning the affection of teachers, neighbours, and even schoolmates who usually preferred to play something more lively. On the other hand, Alexa was pure energy, almost as if driven by an internal engine that never turned off. With her hair always dishevelled and knees perpetually scraped from her adventures, she rarely managed to stay still for more than a minute. It was common to see her running barefoot down the cobblestone street, challenging the older boys to races or climbing the tallest trees in the square, much to the dismay of some adults. Her inseparable red bicycle was practically an extension of her body, and she could be seen zigzagging through the streets with such skill that even the neighbourhood boys tried to imitate her, unsuccessfully. Her loud and infectious laughter echoed everywhere, bringing life to the quiet neighbourhood. "Be careful, Alexa!" the neighbours shouted, with a mix of worry and admiration for the girl who seemed afraid of nothing. She stood out not only for her adventurous spirit, but also for her creativity in inventing games. One day, she transformed an old wheelbarrow into a racing car, challenging the children on the block to compete with her on improvised tracks. Despite their striking differences, the two sisters shared an unbreakable bond. Diana, with her almost angelic calmness, was Alexa's safe harbour, always ready to help clean her scraped knees or comfort moments of frustration with a hug and gentle words. On the other hand, Alexa was Diana's tireless protector, facing down any peer or neighbour who dared to mock her sister. The nights were special moments for the two of them. When the day finally came to an end and silence enveloped the house, Diana followed a ritual that never changed. She would sneak into Alexa's bed, carrying with her the pink blanket she never let go of. There, the two would snuggle together as they did in their mother's womb, with Diana always hugging Alexa as if wanting to protect her from the dangers of the world. On these nights, they whispered about everything and nothing, adventures of the day, plans for the future, or stories invented on the spot. It was as if their room were a world apart, where no difference between them mattered. The soft laughs they shared filled the room with warmth and complicity, until exhausted, they would fall asleep, still embraced. The twins' parents, Elena and Charles, were examples of love and understanding. Since the girls' birth, they knew that despite sharing the same appearance, they had completely different souls and personalities. This both enchanted and challenged them. Elena, with her infinite patience, had the habit of watching her daughters play and saw, in each one, unique qualities that complemented each other. "Our girls are like different flowers in the same garden," she used to say with a loving smile, as she watched Diana carefully arrange the clothes of her dolls or Alexa dash through the room like a hurricane with some new project in mind. She believed that, just like in the garden, it was necessary to give space for each one to bloom in her own way. Charles, in turn, was the #1 admirer of the unique little ones, as he called them. He had a peculiar way of showing love. While helping Diana set up an elaborate scene for her fantasy stories, he also helped Alexa adjust the wheels of her bicycle or build improvised ramps for her daring jumps. It was rare for him to raise his voice or show irritation at the chaos Alexa often caused. "Each one is a different gift the universe has given us," he would say with pride, hugging them both at the same time, even though it required a bit of effort to hold the restless Alexa close. Paternal grandmother, Grandma Celeste, also played a special role in the girls' lives. A lady with grey hair always tied in a loose bun and with a smile that seemed never to leave her face, she had unquestionable affection for both, but nurtured a particular admiration for Alexa. There was something about the unrestrained energy of the more rambunctious granddaughter that reminded her of herself in her youth. "That girl has fire in her feet and wings in her imagination," Celeste would say to anyone who would listen, although Alexa didn't need witnesses to know she was the favourite granddaughter. "Tell me everything, my little adventurer," she would often request, sitting in the living room armchair with a knitted shawl wrapped around her shoulders. Alexa, never needing an invitation twice, would dive into her amazing stories. She spoke with such liveliness that even the most mundane details seemed exciting. She would narrate how she had discovered a buried treasure, which was actually just an old bottle cap, or how she had challenged the strongest boy in the neighbourhood to a bicycle race and won. Celeste laughed so much that tears often welled up in her eyes. "You're not just an adventurer, Alexa. You're a born storyteller. One day, I want you to write all this down for me." However, she always had the same ready response. "I don't have time, Grandma. I'm busy living new adventures." As the years passed, the differences between the twins became even more pronounced. In adolescence, Diana dedicated herself diligently to ballet classes, dreaming of one day becoming a professional ballerina. Her graceful movements and elegant posture made her seem to float as she walked. Alexa, for her part, dove headfirst into the world of sports. Whether it was volleyball, basketball, or track and field, she was always on the move. Her toned muscles and sun-kissed skin contrasted with her sister's almost angelic figure. It was during this time that the physical differences began to draw more attention. Diana kept her long hair always well-groomed and wore delicate clothes that accentuated her slim figure. Meanwhile, Alexa chose to cut her hair very short. "It's more practical for training," she explained. Her clothes were an eclectic mix of sportswear and items bought from second-hand stores reflecting her laid-back personality. For their parents and closest friends, these differences were a cause for celebration. Elena and Charles never tired of praising the unique achievements of each daughter, whether it was a flawless dance performance or a medal won in a sports competition. However, not everyone saw the situation with the same understanding eyes. In larger family gatherings, it was common to hear malicious comments whispered among more distant uncles and cousins. "Look at Diana. She seems like a princess straight out of a fairy tale," said an aunt, her eyes shining with admiration as she observed the girl with impeccable posture, perfectly styled hair, and a delicate dress that highlighted her slender figure. Whenever Diana entered a room, she seemed to light up the space, attracting glances and compliments wherever she went. "She's going to be a famous ballerina, you can bet," the aunt continued, almost as if she wanted to receive early credit for noticing her niece's potential before anyone else. But, inevitably, the comments about Diana were accompanied by unfavourable comparisons to Alexa. The same aunt, with a tone of false concern, would slightly purse her lips and murmur to whoever was next to her, "But Alexa, what happened to her? How can identical twins turn out so different?" It was as if Alexa's presence was a piece of a puzzle that no one knew where to fit. While Diana moved like a ballerina even off stage, Alexa moved energetically through the room, almost always in sportswear, and with a smile that seemed to disarm any formality. But this was not enough for the critical eyes of the family. "She doesn't even seem to try," an older cousin whispered, pointing to Alexa's short hair and visibly scarred knees. The comments didn't stop there. Some even crueler voices added, "She could be as beautiful as Diana if only she would dress up. Why does she insist on being so different?" These constant comparisons did not go unnoticed by Alexa. Even trying to maintain a carefree demeanour, it was possible to notice the glint of hurt in her eyes when she heard such comments. In those moments, invariably, Diana would appear by her side, wrapping her sister in a tight hug. "Don't listen to them, Alexa," Diana would whisper. "You are beautiful, intelligent, and amazing. They just don't see how special you are." The girl's parents also made a point to intervene whenever possible. "Our two daughters are beautiful, each in their own way," they would assert firmly, casting disapproving looks at the insensitive relatives. When it was time to go to university, the twins found themselves separated for the first time. Diana was accepted into a prestigious dance school in the capital, while Alexa received a sports scholarship to study physiotherapy at a coastal university. The farewell was emotional, with many tears and promises of daily calls. "We will talk every day no matter what," Diana vowed, hugging her sister tightly. And so it was. Even separated by hundreds of kilometers, the twins kept in constant contact. They exchanged messages throughout the day and made sure to have long video calls every night, sharing news and venting about their challenges. During holidays and special occasions, both returned to their parents' home. During those times, Alexa insisted that the celebrations be just family. "Can we spend Christmas with just us, Dad, Mom, and Grandma?" she asked, tired of the looks and comments from more distant relatives. The parents, understanding, agreed. The years went by, and the twins graduated, each following their professional path. Diana achieved her dream of becoming a ballerina, joining the dance troupe of a renowned company. Alexa, on the other hand, specialized in sports physiotherapy and was hired to work with a professional basketball team. Alexa's life was a constant adventure. Traveling across the country with the team, she experienced moments of joy and professional fulfillment. Her work was crucial in keeping the athletes in shape and helping them recover from injuries. The clumsy girl of the past had become a confident and respected woman in her field. Christmas was approaching when Alexa received a call from her parents. Eleanor's voice sounded cheerful on the other end of the line. "Dear, we have news. Your grandmother Celeste is turning 90 on Christmas Eve, and since it's a special occasion, we've decided to have a big celebration. It will be a Christmas dinner and birthday party all in one." Alexa's heart tightened. On one hand, she was happy to celebrate her beloved grandmother's birthday. On the other hand, she knew that a big celebration meant the presence of all those family members whose comments hurt her so much. "It will be wonderful, Mum," she said, trying to sound cheerful. "I'll be there, of course." As soon as she hung up, Alexa called Diana. "I need your help, sister," she said, a plan forming in her mind. "Do you think you could lend me some clothes and help me with hair and makeup?" Diana was silent for a few seconds. "Are you sure, Alexa? You shouldn't change because of others." I know, Alexa replied. "But just this once, please." On Christmas Eve, the sisters met at their parents' old house. The room they shared as teenagers had been transformed into an improvised beauty salon. Diana had brought a suitcase full of clothes and accessories, along with her collection of makeup and hair products. "Let's do this right," declared Diana, a determined sparkle in her eyes. The following hours were quite a transformation. Diana washed, dried, and styled her sister's hair, which had grown a bit since the last cut. With skillful hands, she applied layers of makeup, highlighting Alexa's delicate features. Finally came the outfit. Diana chose a navy blue dress that fit Alexa like a glove, complementing it with a pair of high heels and a delicate pearl choker. When Alexa looked at herself in the mirror, she could hardly believe it. The woman staring back at her looked like she had stepped out of a fashion magazine, elegant, sophisticated, almost identical to Diana. "Wow," she whispered, touching her own reflection. Diana smiled, but there was a shadow of worry in her eyes. "You look beautiful, Alexa, but remember, you have always been beautiful." The twins arrived at the party together. Grandma Celeste's house was beautifully decorated for Christmas, with twinkling lights and the aroma of homemade food in the air. Relatives from all over had gathered for the dual celebration. When Alexa and Diana entered side by side, a momentary silence fell over the room. For a moment, it seemed as if everyone had travelled back in time, seeing the identical twins from years ago. The comments quickly followed, this time in a complimentary tone. "Wow, Alexa, you look stunning." "What a transformation," Now both of you look equally beautiful. Diana, you did an amazing job with your sister. Alexa smiled and thanked politely, but a strange sensation grew in her chest. Those compliments, why did they feel so empty? Finally, she spotted Grandma Celeste sitting in an armchair near the Christmas tree. The elderly woman looked at her granddaughters, blinking several times as if trying to understand what she saw. "Grandma!" exclaimed Alexa, approaching. "Happy birthday! What do you think? Do I look pretty now?" Grandmother Celeste slightly tilted her head, her wise eyes studying her granddaughter for long seconds. When she spoke, her voice was full of emotion. "Alexa, my dear, you have always been beautiful. It's not these clothes or this hairstyle that make you beautiful. It's your vibrant personality, your spontaneous way, your quirky clothes, and your different haircuts. All of this makes you unique and wonderful." Her grandmother's words struck Alexa like lightning. Suddenly she realized how uncomfortable she was, in clothes that weren't hers, with makeup that hid her freckles, with a hairstyle that didn't match her style. Without saying a word, Alexa ran out of the house. In the car, she had a backpack with her things. In a few minutes, she changed the elegant dress for a colorful dress and a neon jacket. She put on her comfortable sneakers and splashed water on her face, removing the makeup. When she returned to the party, Alexa was herself again. Her hair was natural, her freckles were on display, and a huge smile lit up her face. Grandmother Celeste beamed when she saw her granddaughter. "Now that's right," said the grandmother. "My two granddaughters are here. Beautiful, each in her own way." Alexa and Diana approached, enveloping their grandmother in a tight hug. At that moment, surrounded by her family's love, Alexa finally understood. Her beauty lay not in being like anyone else, but in being authentically herself. The party continued into the night with laughter, music, and lots of food. And if anyone made a comment about Alexa's appearance, she simply didn't hear it. She was too busy being happy, exactly as she was. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.